This painting was created by Donald Bush Cordray, the cousin of the guest father, and was given to the family in the 1920s. Cordray was a talented artist who attended the Minneapolis School of Art and was known for collecting maps. The painting features menacing creatures, including a wolf that once scared the guest as a child. They even scratched out the wolf's teeth because of the fear it induced. The painting is meant to be displayed in the middle of a room and is painted on nearly every surface, including the chest. Initially thought to be the work of an outsider artist, the painting's condition and Cordray's reputation as a respected artist reveal its true value, while the estimated value for auction purposes is $3,000 to $5,000.
This box.
Right.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
The guest father acquired this item during the Second World War at a German prisoner of war camp in Ontario, Canada. The German POW at the camp made these items to earn money. It's a model of a house with pillars on the front. The model features a train going across an entrance bridge, with the train carrying the POWs. There's also a village scene with a church, a street, small buildings, and a river. The guest hasn't been able to find much information about the model, particularly the Varga ship depicted, which they believe could be rare. The appraiser values the model between $300 and $500 and is very pleased with it.
Excellent. I'm quite happy with that.
The guest brought in beautiful brooches that belonged to her grandmother, who had a fondness for collecting items with animal imagery. The guest inherited the items after her grandmother's passing and expressed love for these unique pieces. The appraiser discussed the aspect of each item individually. Both the brooches were from the Georgian period. The first brooch had a snake's tail winding around to form the bail of the piece, with a large pear-shaped diamond in its head along with single diamonds surrounding it. The piece was identified as 18-karat gold, with a large lapis lazuli stone. The other piece was bird-styled, lightweight, with craftsmanship depicting canatille work, involving intricate filigree wires. It had a sliding lock brooch mechanism on the back.
It's actually more of a contemporary sliding lock brooch. It has a trombone hinge. This was originally a pendant.
Both pieces were unmarked, but maintained their historical charm. The value estimated for both pieces together ranged between $9,000 to $13,000.
Wow, okay. All right.
This lovely piece of illustration art belonged to the guest father, who purchased it in the 70s for $2,500. The painting was done in 1952 by the artist John Falter. Falter was an American artist best known for his cover paintings for the Saturday Evening Post. This painting was one of the 185 Falter did for them. Titled The Driving Range, the image shows several different poses of people in various stages of good and bad golf. Alongside the artwork is a letter written by Falter, which explains each character in the painting.
I mean, go up here and look at them, and you can I'll go through these. Here's the fall forward.
Right.
And then the fall back.
Right.
And then the lesson. Here's a man giving his wife a lesson. She doesn't look too pleased with them at that point.
The picture also shows the love Falter had for night scenery.
One of Falter's most famous covers is a night game at Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
And also in the post-war, a lot of night sports. And this is what's going on. This is all under the lights here. We have these lights at night at the driving range.
This lovely painting, which is in good condition, has the appraiser value it at about...
If I were to insure it today, I would probably insure it for over twice that. I would put an insurance value of about $200,000 to $250,000 on it.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I need to make a phone call.
This vintage toy set was given to the guest by a good friend. The toys, which are a tally-ho coach and a 3-seat brake, are made of cast iron and also horse-drawn. The 3-seat brake was made by Hubley in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, while the tally-ho was made by Carpenter. There are some changes and defects to the 3-seat brake.
Both side lamps are replaced. Some of the figures might be recast. But other than that, it's in pretty decent shape.
One unique feature of these toys was the great galloping action they had.
This is the way Hubley had these horses gallop, so it really gave nice, realistic motion. Carpenter also had a similar galloping action. Theirs was a totally different mechanism with these revolving wheels that would lend a realistic look to the horses.
They are also one of the most complex and desirable sets of cast iron carriage toys that Tally-Ho made.
Very complicated with the double horse hitch, and not a lot of them have survived.
The appraiser values them at...
This Hubley 3-seat brake, because it has a couple of problems, which I'll tell you about, is worth about $5,000 to $7,000. This toy, I would say, in this condition, would be worth in the $8,000 to $10,000 range.
Oh.
In 2004, the value fell between $10,000 to $12,000. What do you think the value will be today? Let us know in the comments. Behold this lovely piece of furniture. With its beautiful craftsmanship and exquisite design, it is truly a sight to behold. The guest bought this storage unit at an auction for $15. The unit was made by Herman Miller in the 1950s. Herman Miller is an American company that produces home furnishings, office equipment, and furniture. This piece has been used by the guest in storing music records.
My husband has over 1,000 records. Peter said that was what specifically they were made for, to keep records and record players. So that's kind of perfect.
In this lovely condition, the appraiser values it at...
At auction, I think this would sell for about $20,000.
What? Really?
Yes.
Wow. That's very cool.
Piece that tells the taste of the guest grandmother. This Cinnabar Lacquer Box was bought by the guest grandmother at an antique shop in Peking, China in 1930. This piece is said to have been made during the Qianlong period, around 1735 to 1795.
His reign is known for gorgeous white jades, lovely pieces of cinnabar lacquer, scholars' objects, all with puns and rebuses and stories attached to them.
Really?
This lacquer box has quite fascinating and also complicated features.
But here you have a cricket, you have prunus here, you have melons, you have wonderful leaves, all carved out of 3 layers of lacquer.
There's a less conspicuous yellow first layer, which is meant to simulate gold.
Oh. Above that is a green lacquer, and above this is this lovely cinnabar red color. Each layer was applied in 100 coats.
The 100 coats were done by a painstaking process of letting each coat dry for 3 days before applying a new coat.
And look at the quality of carving. This quality of carving could only have been done in the Qianlong period.
There's also significant care taken by her grandmother to preserve this piece.
So look what they said here. Keep this ring in place when shipping or transporting from place to place.
Yes.
The appraiser values it at about...
At auction today, this item would bring between $7,000 and $10,000.
Wow. Wow.
In 2022, the value rose to between $10,000 to $15,000. What do you think the price will be today? Let us know in the comments. This guest brings this beautiful vase and bird bowl to the show. The vase was bought at a garage sale for $100, while the bird vase was from a dealer for $40. The vase is made by Paul Doxel, an Austrian ceramic maker.
Dashiell's work are always well respected by collectors, and this is a very, very fine piece.
The bird bowl is made by Robert Hankey, also an Austrian ceramic maker. Both pieces date to around 1905. The appraiser values them at...
The Dashiell piece, probably at auction, somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000. This is a piece that should be maybe in the $500 to $750 range, just because of what it is.
Thank you.
The guest brought the Qing period Nefrite Jade Basin, narrating her love for Asian things.
The color of the jade itself, which is technically called Nefrite, often is referred to, because of the dark green color, as spinach, just because of the color.
The guest purchased it at the rate of $800. Artisans intricately carved them from precious Nefrite jade, which held deep cultural significance. The interior is carved with lotus flowers and leaves, symbolizing beauty and significance. All the auspicious symbols that have connotations of good luck and prosperity. Nefrite jade basins were highly valued for their beauty and rarity. Royalty often used them ceremonially, but they were also handy for washing hands and holding water, for arranging flowers as well. They're cherished in museums and private collections globally. The appraiser explained how misuse of it could damage the basin. He valued it to range between $25,000 to $30,000.
Oh my God. Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
25,000, maybe even 30,000.
Whoa.
Okay?
Oh my God.
That's what you would be expected to pay if you went to an antique shop that dealt in Chinese art
Really?
and bought this today.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay.
Oh, I'm excited.
The guest brought Joseph Klech oil painting to the show. It was a perfect provenance, going right from the artist's wife to the guest parent. The guest bought it for $100, which was a lot of money in those days. Joseph Klech was born on June 6, 1882 in Hungary, and he studied in Budapest, Paris, and Munich.
And he studied in Budapest, Paris, and Munich.
The painting shows the neighborhood where he grew up. There was a label behind the painting that indicated a drugstore in Laguna Beach. The unique features of the painting was the blended color with some wonderful bravura and oil effect. The appraiser valued it to be around $500,000.
Quite nice to know.
Yeah. When we saw the painting, we were all very excited, so it's a pleasure to be able to talk about it.
Oh, no, it's certainly all my pleasure.
The guest brought Elizabeth Jane Gardner Bouguereau oil painting. He inherited the painting from his mother, which she purchased at an auction for $14,500. He inherited the painting about 20 years ago. The painting was done by Elizabeth Gardner Bouguereau, who was an American painter.
She was an American. She came to Paris to study art, and she was not really allowed to study at a lot of the important art schools like the École des Beaux-Arts.
The painting was originally made by her husband, Williams Bouguereau, in 1861. The artist's attention to detail in the lady's clothing and the background heightens realism. The golden frame gave the painting a perfect look.
I think at auction, a conservative auction estimate would be $50,000 to $70,000.
Very good. That sounds very good. Thank you.
The guest brought California Spurs to the show. She narrated how she inherited them from a woman who had purchased them at an estate sale in Green Valley,
which is a little town south of Tucson. And the story goes that they belonged to a granddaughter of President Tyler.
The Spurs were made by Abby Hunt, who worked in California for years. Spurs are an important tool for communication and control between the horse and the rider. The California Spurs were designed for both function and style. The rowel looks so horrible, but its purpose is to increase leverage and communication while riding. Machine oil is used to keep it working and prevent rusting. The appraiser valued it to range between $1,200 and $1,500.
Then you more than double that price. The filing and the engraving is top-notch.
Nice.
They're very beautiful spurs.
They are, thank you.
The guest brought a Wayman tenor banjo inherited by her family from their grandfather. The tenor banjo was invented by Fred Wayman in 1925. It was considered a classic string instrument. This Wayman banjo was made in Philadelphia. The Wayman tenor banjo was a unique instrument due to its flathead tone ring and complex neck design. It was an extremely popular instrument in the 1920s and 1930s. The appraiser valued it to range between $2,500 and $3,000.
Oh, really?
That's how I would value it.
Oh, that's very great. That's wonderful.
The guest was happy and never expected it could be valued so high. This painting showcases Olin Travis's artistry, along with the love and legacy from the dying aunt to the current owner. Aunt Marge, who was dying with cancer, gifted this painting to the current owner. The aunt paid $275 for this painting. The painting depicts an Ozark Hilltop. On the back, it's mentioned that Olin Travis was in love with a girl from the Ozarks and later married her. Olin Travis was an American painter, and he spent most of his life painting in Texas. He created this beautiful painting in 1947.
So what this picture has is the trifecta. It's got perfect provenance, It's in excellent condition, in its original frame.
The painting is oil on the smooth side of masonite. It's signed on the lower left and has initial letters OT for Olin Travis on the lower right. Its estimated value is...
And the value is about $10,000 for insurance purposes.
I did not expect that. Whoa, holy cow.
Paintings hold sentimental value beyond their aesthetic appeal. The Guest Acquisition, a work by artist Duncan Gleason from the 50s, recalls cherished memories of sibling beach adventures. Gleason's diverse talents and love for maritime themes shine through in this piece, likely painted in Laguna Beach. Titled Sea Urchins, it reflects Gleason's mastery and has seen a remarkable rise in value. Duncan Gleason, known for his multifaceted talents and adventurous spirit, left a lasting mark on the art world with his vibrant and expressive works.
And we can see some of the wonderful painterly brushwork that he's got in here and here.
While originally acquired for $88 in the early 50s, its value has appreciated significantly over the years. With recent auctions fetching prices well beyond expectations, this charming painting could command a conservative estimate of $20,000 to $30,000, with the potential for even higher returns. For insurance, a valuation exceeding $40,000 is advisable, considering the painting's significance and growing demand for Gleason's work.
For insurance purposes, so wow.
The next item, an oil-on-board painting, brings back special memories for the guest. The guest is American-born, but her parents were South African diplomats. The painting depicts Devil's Peak and Table Mountain in the background.
I don't know. I just love that scene. It reminded me of my dad.
It shows a lovely scene of Cape Town. The painting is signed in the lower left corner and dated 1939. This painting is an early work of the South African painter Gregar Boon, who was an early member of the South African Communist Party. Boon was well known for his landscape portraits and still life paintings. He was also a founding member of a group called the New Group of Artists. In 1999, he received an award from Nelson Mandela. Boon political activism adds depth to the painting's history and value.
While small and early, I would put it at between $10,000 to $15,000 at auction.
Marvelous. I'm delighted. Oh, this is great.
Guest recounted her unexpected acquisition of horse equipment once owned by Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Prompted by a friend's tip about a local auction, they were initially unsure of its authenticity, but were convinced after seeing a tag linking it to Jacqueline's horse. They were particularly fascinated by a monogrammed blanket used for horse shows, adding a touch of elegance to the horse's appearance. The appraiser further substantiated the provenance by discovering a photo from 1988 featuring Jacqueline and her children, John Jr. and Caroline, alongside the horses mentioned.
John Jr. may have touched this, my goodness.
Probably did. He probably
did. That is
did.
really cool.
It's a great piece.
Impressed by its historical significance, the appraiser estimated its insurance value at $2,500 to $5,000, emphasizing its potential worth in a Kennedy auction.
If I had an auction, I'd probably estimate it between $1,000 and $2,000. If it was in a Kennedy auction, it would probably go for well more than that. Have you used this?
John Jr. may have touched this, my goodness.
Probably did. He probably did.
That is really cool.
It's a great piece.
In the last episode, the guest shared a fascinating item, a pass originally owned by a friend of their dad, a notable athlete in the 1930s. This pass granted lifetime access to Comiskey Park, courtesy of George M. Cohen, who gifted 100 of them to baseball players at a 30s party. The pass, made of gold, signified membership in the American League and was personally owned by George M. Cohen, a Broadway icon and an avid baseball enthusiast. Given out in the early 1910s by Charles Comiskey, the owner of the Chicago White Sox, gold passes were reserved for esteemed individuals. Accompanied by its original pouch adorned with intricate gold decorations, the pass was deemed highly valuable. Its estimated worth ranged from $10,000 to $15,000, potentially fetching more at auction due to its rarity. Another similar pass belonging to John L. Sullivan sold for over $20,000, highlighting its significance in sports history.
Without question, perhaps more at auction.
Oh, man.
And it is just so interesting. A similar pass, a little bit earlier, issued to John L. Sullivan, went for upwards of $20,000.
Wow.
So, I mean, it is a wonderful item. Congratulations,
Oh,
Gil.
that's great news. Thanks.
Thank you.